and they've had a terrible season.
I mean, you will get some stick salty. Katie will be on straight away on Friday morning. Troy's already started. The group memes were flying around last night. Let's hear from Ange Postecoglou and what the future holds for him. He doubles down on himself being a winner.
I think I said yesterday, I'm pretty kind of, not relaxed is not the word, because I'd be disappointed if we couldn't continue on this path. But, you know, like I said, it's not a criticism. I understand why it would be difficult for a club like this to buy into one person's vision. You know, I remember even when I signed, you know, it was kind of, you know, the club, well, even Daniel sort of said, you know, we went after winners, it didn't work, and now we've got Ange, and, mate, I'm a winner. I've been a serial winner my whole career. It's what I've done more than anything else, you know, and I know people talk about my football, which I'm very proud of, and I know people dismiss my achievements because, you know, they didn't happen to happen on this side of the world, but for me, they're all hard-earned, and all I've done my whole career is win things, and but I understand, you know, look, obviously the way things have gone in the league, you know, people are rightly to be concerned about. Like I said, I don't think there's a true reflection of where we're at. But whatever happens, I said my own sort of belief in what I do doesn't waver, and I'll continue to kind of push on to do what I do.
The word coming into this game was that he is going to be sacked regardless. How do you think he handled himself in the build-up to it, Scott, bearing in mind that was always the narrative? He seemed to have supreme confidence that they were going to get over the line.
I think he had to. I mean, perhaps Crookie's even better to answer that, because I know that, you know, he sort of interviewed him beforehand as well. I heard about the clown thing, so I actually wanted to read the article itself in full. And I thought the article itself from the Standard was actually quite balanced. But
they did use the phrase clown. I mean, I read it too because I was looking for it, because I wondered whether it was just a headline.
Yeah,
it wasn't, was it?
That's what I thought. That's what I was looking for. But as I was just about to say, it still didn't need to be there. It didn't need to be there, and that was a little dig halfway down the article rather than making it towards the actual headline. But it's interesting that he centred in on that. You know, I just think I think he needs a little bit of help into just sit back, relax. But it's very easy for us to say from the outside looking in when it's constant press conference, constant, as Crookie's saying, pushing, cajoling, even mockery going on as well. It's not right, but that's what he's paid to do, to handle it. And I just wonder, now he's done it, now he can stick two fingers up to everybody and all his critics. I wonder if over the summer he just needs to sort of sit back and say, well, whatever happens with his career, with his Tottenham career, we don't yet know. It's amazing to think that he just won the Europa League, Tottenham's first major trophy in 17 years, and we still don't know what his future's going to be. But I personally feel the fact he has shown he's got another layer to him, I think he deserves another chance. But we'll have to wait and see whether that's the case. We know Daniel Levy can be very, very ruthless indeed. But yeah, how did he handle it? He had to. Once he doubled down a few months ago in terms of, I win trophies in my second season, and then you're just before the game, you're here. You've got to go all in that, and it was all about that. But fair play to him, he did deserve to win that.
So, does he stay or does he go? Spurs couldn't build on the success that they managed in 1991 when they won the FA Cup, 1999 and 2008 when they won League Cups. Can they build on success in the Europa League in 2025? Or will Ange go off into the sunset and let somebody else take them into the Champions League next season? Crook?
I still think he'll probably go with Paratici coming back to join the hierarchy. We know that they've already started drawing up a list of potential successors, Marco Silva at Fulham amongst them. And I think it's
the effort that puts them in
it's
front.
ruthless.
In the comfort of your home, on your way to work, in the midst of your daily activities. Your Let's Talk station is here to keep you informed. Only on your number one for talk, 95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Let's talk.
And that's the effort that puts them in front.
Football makes the world go round.
Got players over here inside the penalty area.
And the A-team brings it to a frenzy.
That's the sound they haven't heard in 14 months.
Then you, the fans, complete it. This is where champions are made.
One of the smallest players on the pitch who scores for the fourth time in a row against the Gunners.
This is where champions are celebrated.
And it's Kevin De Bruyne, who else?
This is the home of champions. Football frenzy. It's all about the game.
Well, this game's the first goal of all the games that are taking place at the moment.
Catch up with the A-team on Football Frenzy. Weekdays, 7 to 10 p.m. and weekends, noon to 8 p.m. Exclusive to 95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's talk and let's celebrate football.
All right, we've had 10 months of drama, emotions, twists and turns. But today, all that will come to an end as all Premier League games are currently live out there in the United Kingdom. Welcome to the live commentary from your Let's Talk station, 95.1 Nigeria Info FM right here in the nation's capital. My name is Bumi Blair, the Comedy Sports Prime Minister, and I've got Benga right here. We are all a member of Abuja's A-team. Benga. A lot of games to look at today. Which of these big fixtures, or should I say, which of it do you think is a big fixture?
Actually, it will depend on what you're looking for in the EPL, because three spaces, right? The Champions League spot, which ends in 5th, the Europa League spot, which I think the likes of Tottenham Hotspur has already clinched, and the Conference League spot are all for grabs today. Chelsea facing Nottingham Forest, going away to the City ground, and Maresca will be looking to finish the season on a high, at least before playing that final in the Conference League. And here we also have Fulham also fighting Manchester City, also fighting, Aston Villa, trying to play a depleted Manchester United side right now, because United really have nothing to play for this season, because they will have nothing to play outside England for next season. So today is going to be wonderful. Today is going to be interesting, and that's why we are here.
All right, today is going to be wonderful. It's going to be interesting. It depends on the side of the divide you fall in at the end of the games. Yes, currently Bournemouth up against Leicester City 3 minutes in. Fulham against Manchester City 4 minutes in. Ipswich against West Ham 3 minutes in. Liverpool against Crystal Palace, it's 3 minutes in. Manchester United against Aston Villa. There is also Newcastle against Everton. Nottingham Forest against Chelsea, Southampton against Arsenal, Tottenham against Brighton, and Wolves against Brentford, all still goalless in the first 4 minutes.
Absolutely. Teams will have to check themselves out as it's going right now, especially in that Man City game. They look like they will be finishing trophyless, and that will be the first time a Pep Guardiola side will be finishing trophyless in so many years, after a lot of seasons of dominance. And we also have Chelsea, who would look like they have to be careful playing against a Nottingham Forest side who have remained third on the log for a long time, but now are fighting for their lives to try and save some sort of soccer in the European space. But we don't know yet. Somebody's holding blue right there just 4 minutes into the game.
Okay, how far can he blow it? And how well can he blow it is a big question. Our attention will be on one big game where we understand that Nottingham Forest have an unchanged lineup following their win against West Ham as they chase a Champions League spot this evening. Callum Hudson-Odoi, yes, must be content with a place on the bench against his former club, while Willy Bolly returns among the substitute. So starting lineup for Nottingham Forest, they have Sales, Aino, Muriello, there is Milenkovic, Williams, Sangare, Anderson, Dominguez, Gibbs White, Elanga, and Wood, all starting for them. While Chelsea returns Jadon Sancho. Yes, only change at the City ground from their own win over Manchester United. So in his place, we have Tyreek George, while there is no Christopher Nkunku in the squad, despite being named as available by Enzo Maresca. What does that speak to you?
It speaks something clear that Christopher Nkunku won't be in the plans going to next season. Probably Maresca won't do a Conte when he sent text message through a certain phone to Costa back in the day and say, oh guy, you're not in my plans going into next season. Maresca may not do that for Nkunku, but it's clear that Nkunku didn't take his opportunities well when Jackson was not at home, and it's looking like Chelsea would have to look for a striker going into next season. So yes, it's better to start with a Pedro Neto rather than a Nkunku that will offer nothing.
Well, free kick at London, yes, at Craven Cottage. Then there was a corner kick at the City Stadium, but both have not resulted in anything really meaningful. Yep. Elanga with the duty for Nottingham Forest, and then Mamouche for Manchester City, both not working. Long throw for Nottingham Forest. Now switching our attention to that game between Nottingham Forest and Chelsea. It's 6 minutes on the clock. It's a chance of a long throw from for Nottingham Forest, and it's going to be taken by Ola Aino. Can Chelsea defend this very well? There's a little bit of shoving and pushing going on in the box. He's taking shots. The cross targeted into the area. Header connects. Chelsea struggling to clear their line. Back to Ola Aino. He cuts inwards. Dribbles past three defenders, but finally he's been stopped, and a chance of a counter for Chelsea. Blocked again. Gibbs White loses possession in his quest to get the ball back. He fouls an opponent, and the referee quickly signals with the whistle.
Absolutely. The away side, talking about Chelsea, finding it difficult to clear their lines, finding it difficult to transit with the ball. One would think that starting with a traditional right back and left back in James and Cucurella could sort of add some balance to this Chelsea side. But yes, on the ball, it seems like they are jittery. It seems like Nottingham Forest want it more. Of course, they are the home side. It's the City ground. But Chelsea would need to exert themselves more in this game, have some intentions going forward, and probably Cole Palmer would need to up his game.
Okay, and that's a clearance from Sanchez. A long one into the middle. First ball won by Forest, but back into Chelsea's player, and it is the captain of the side, Reece James, from the right-hand side. Finds Pedro Neto. A switch to the left-hand side, looking for... That's coming in from Fernandes.
Yeah, Enzo Fernandez.
Looking for Sancho, but unfortunately didn't get it.
Yeah, he didn't get it. Some would say Enzo Fernandez is that Mr. Chelsea at the moment. You may not like him in terms of being a neutral, but Chelsea fans kind of like him. They admire him. Of course, he's part of their captain ranks, probably behind Reece James. So with Enzo Fernandez, he would need to do more than just be admirable to fans, and also try and take the job on by leading Chelsea to at least the first goal in this game.
6 goals for Enzo this season, 7 assists in the Premier League this season, 3 goals and 2 assists in his last season's Premier League. He has done better. He has obviously done better. It's Nottingham Forest trying to build from behind, and connections in the middle. Then they've now worked their way into Chelsea's half and into the box. Or line now with a cutback and stopped by Colwill. That was a brilliant defending from Chelsea.
Yeah, brilliant, timely, needed. Levi Colwill is one of those defenders that hardly gets injured. He's always available. The likes of Adara Bioyo, Wesley Fofana, all of them, even Chaloba that was called back from Crystal Palace, they have a way of not being available in every game. But here is Levi Colwill, played almost every minute of every game for Chelsea, and to his defense, he needs to be a better defender in this game.
Corner kick flown in. Chelsea struggling to clear their lines. Finally, a chance of a counter. And it is Pedro Neto from the right-hand side. 4 players in front of him. Ooh. The ball a little bit behind the on-rushing player. And that gave the defenders a chance to clear it out.
Absolutely. I think it's one of the criticism I have about Pedro Neto. He just reminds you of his certain Sean Wright-Phillips once upon a time with Chelsea. They know how to run faster than the ball, sometimes think faster than their feet. So playing that ball behind Reece James on that occasion didn't do Chelsea any good. He needs to be more calm, cool and collected.
3 points separate third place and Manchester City, and seventh place at Nottingham Forest, and 1 point separate fourth place Newcastle and Forest. What this means is there's a chance for both Forest, Manchester City and Newcastle to play in the Champions League next season. But who will grab this chance tonight?
It's left to be seen. We could even see about 8-9 English teams in Europe generally. Of course, Tottenham Forest Tottenham Hotspur already booked a place in Europa League.
And in case, just to update you, there's a goal already at Anfield. And guess who scored? Not Liverpool. Crystal Palace lead 1-0 after 12 minutes.
Yes, Crystal Palace. I saw a tweet from the admin saying it's the battle of champions. Yes, Liverpool clinching the EPL. They also clinched the FA Cup. So it's like if you are not a champion, hide your face, basically. And so Crystal Palace, with that audacity, now taking the lead at Anfield. It's good to see.
Olaino to take a throw very close to the goal line for Chelsea. And there are bodies inside the 18-yard box, including the boxes. He takes a shot this time around once again. And Elanga's cross into the area, having received a pass from Olaino. Goes too far and goes out for a goal kick. Wayward, if you ask me.
Yeah, wayward, wide, was too heavy. Probably Nottingham Forest know that, yes, you can rely on Chris Wood to body the defenders and try and get on those aerial duels. But I think Chelsea have more bodies in terms of Colwill, James, and even Cucurella, who's very agile on the ball. These are the guys that can take you off guard. So Nottingham Forest will need to look for a new tactics aside from crossing. Maybe parallel ball, like we call it when we play set.
All right. You can join us in the studio. Drop a message on the WhatsApp portal. WhatsApp portal is 08099930137. It's the final day of the EPL, and still a whole lot at stake in the Premier League. Not just the Premier League, we talk about the NPFL also. Yes, relegation battle is at its best, and you won't believe it. If it ends this way, Tornadoes might be relegated at the end of the season. Well, we understand Tornadoes were 1 goal down at some point. We just about 13 minutes played, but a minute after that, they have leveled things. It's now Tornadoes 1, Kano Pillars 1 in the NPFL.
Yeah, in the NPFL, but it's looking like that scoreline will help Tornadoes at least finish in respectable places in the bottom half of the table, so to speak. Atlant also, speaking about teams in that other half of the table, leading their game against Aqua United 1-0 in favor of the home team, Atlant. But I think they are just 4 points ahead of Aqua United in 18th.
Well, a win might not be good enough to save Atlant. They also need other results to go their way from other centers tonight. So it's a big game, and it's a little bit dicey for them. They need to win and also pray one of maybe Katsina United, Tornadoes, and even Academy should lose at home for them to stand a chance to survive this season.
Absolutely. Even atop the table, we already know that our top 4 is kind of confirmed, but it's just 1 point separating Ikorodu City from Bendel Insurance. So just 1 point separating Ikorodu from Bendel Insurance, and Ikorodu City are currently playing a draw in that game against Abia Warriors.
Well, Chelsea controlling this one now with possession. Tosin Adarabioyo combining with Cowell at the back. And now Adarabioyo bumps forward. He's been dispossessed, and there's a chance of a counter. Elanga chases Cowell. Cowell to Sanchez. Sanchez tries to get the ball into the path of Cowell, but it's overhit, and it goes out for a throw. And you could see on his face, he's not worried, he's not bothered by that very bad pass he's just tried to make.
Yeah, I don't think it was a pass to his defense. I just think he wanted to booty, like we used to say.
Just clear the ball out.
Yeah, just clear the ball out to safety, because a Cucurella was coming back, but there was also a Mogangis right behind him. So he didn't want to take any chances by passing it to any Chelsea player.
Well,
and he's back to holding the ball in his gloves.
Cross into the area from Williams is well held by Sanchez in goal for Chelsea. And now there's a chance for Noni. He's looking up front, looking for Pedro Neto, who more or less plays like the centre forward today. Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. Like I said, you can't rely on Kunku, who doesn't even make the squad. You can't rely on Jackson, who sometimes makes a bad decision and is actually not even available in this game. There's the Tyreek George thing, but some would say his profile doesn't suit a central striker. He's someone who likes to play or hover behind a striker. So why not play Pedro Neto, who would always want to run into space and probably finish whatever chance is created? So I'm not shocked, but for Chelsea, it will be a sort of concern going into the transfer window.
And Dominic Solanke has registered his name on the score sheet out there at the Tottenham Stadium. It's via the penalty spot. They won the UEFA Europa League just some few days ago, and they want to finish the season on a high, at least on a respectable note, by winning against Brighton.
Absolutely. Like I said, still referring to that Crystal Palace tweet, it's the day for champions to bask in the euphoria of their season. And what better way to do it against a Brighton side that have been neither hot nor cold. Brighton are literally a mid-table team. I think they are 10th at the moment, or 11th, so to speak. So Tottenham know that they've been piss poor in the league. They know that final probably save Ange Postecoglou's job going into next season. But what better way to give your fans something than win today? I think they are at home. No, they are away. Oh, they are at home against Brighton.
Home.
So they want to do that for their fans in front in the stadium.
Well, there are a couple of teams that are currently in the Champions League place that could as well lose their position at the end of proceedings tonight. Currently, Manchester City are in 3rd position, Newcastle in 4th position, 5th is Chelsea. But if Nottingham Forest should win, then Chelsea could leave that position, and the unthinkable could happen. I mean, in Premier League history, only once have a team started the final day in the Champions League places and finished outside of them. That was Tottenham in the 2005-2006 season, where they were placed in 4th place. They were replaced in 4th place by Arsenal following the final day 2-1 away win. Away defeat by West Ham. If you remember, we understood, if you go back to history, that was when, there was the poisoning story. Yeah. And, the Arsenal fans, Arsene Wenger and the likes of them, really didn't make much comment. They just loved it that they got the Champions League spot.
Yeah, most times the ends justify the means. And for Chelsea, like I said, finishing on a high will be in the mind of Maresca. And if you go back 4-5 seasons, Chelsea hardly finished the season well. They usually lose or draw on the final day. At least 4 in the last 5 or in the last 6 hasn't been favourable for Chelsea on the final day. I think I can remember that game against Aston Villa as well. Even last season, I don't think they won on the final day. So probably Nottingham Forest can feed into that history and shock Chelsea the more.
All right. What exactly are you expecting? Join us on the WhatsApp portal. You can drop your messages via the WhatsApp 080-999-30137. I see your message, a couple of them right here. And this one says, good evening, A-Team. And he says, may Londoners sink in the forest and everybody go home happy. Hamza from Sauda. Hamza, well, let's see. A free kick flown into the Chelsea's penalty box. Well, referee spots an offside against Nottingham Forest. And that will be some kind of, pressure off Chelsea's defense.
Absolutely. And there is a world where both teams don't even qualify. If things remain like this, both Nottingham Forest and Chelsea will just have to remain in England, or probably Chelsea will just have to rely on the Conference League to play in the Europa League. But there's a world, actually, where things remain like this, and both Nottingham Forest and Chelsea will just have to walk away.
Okay. Now, let's take a look at the statistics so far. 54% of possession to Nottingham Forest so far. Chelsea, 46%. Are you surprised that Nottingham Forest, are buzzing in the possession battle?
I'm not. I mean, they are one of the impressive teams in the Premier League this season. Case in point, they've been in third position, which means they've been the third best team in the league. They arguably have the best goalkeeper in Martels, arguably have the best right back, best left back. I mean, arguably.
And talking about the best of the best, it might not be the best news for some of you, but Manchester City are ahead against Fulham.
Yeah.
Yes, City lead by 1-0. Goal scored in the 21st minute. Ike Gundogan with the acrobatic finish.
An icon.
Yeah, an icon that is getting old.
Probably doing the McTominay, because that was the kind of goal McTominay scored for Napoli on the final day against, I think, Cagliari.
Yeah. In the Serie A.
Yes, what a wonderful cross from Politano, I think. Then that acrobatic strike for McTominay, who ended up being the MVP of Serie A anyway.
Interesting. Well, what a deserving finish, and they ended up with the title.
Yes.
Eventually.
So,
well, Shooting Stars are also ahead against Enugu Rangers. It's more or less like an exhibition game. Sadiq Ibrahim with the goal in the second minute of the game, and it's still 1-0 so far in that encounter. Both of them not really fighting for anything. They won't finish in a continental place any longer. Enugu Rangers lost the chance to get a chance to play on the continent when they lost in the semi-final of the President Federations Cup in Lagos to Kwara United.
Absolutely. I think the MPFL has taught us one thing this season. Your club may be having a horrendous time, and you can be having a good time as an individual. And you can be having a good time as an individual, and it doesn't affect your club. Case in point, Remo Stars. They won the league, but the highest goal scorer in that team doesn't have double figures. I think 6 or 7, but they won the league. So more often than not, these things, it just makes football interesting.
All right, and also Brentford ahead against Wolves. Yes, against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Brian Mbeumo with the goal in that encounter.
Yeah, his 20th goal this season. That will be the best season he's having with Brentford. The last time he even had double figures was so many years ago, the first season in the championship with Brentford. That was when he got 16, I think. Now he's having 20. I think he's having the same season like Chris Wood too in the Nottingham Forest team.
And back to the City ground, where the pace seems to have dropped, and I think that's deliberate from Chelsea. They have resorted into a low block, including Pedro Neto joining in defending, and then wait for a chance to counter-attack. The ball comes to the right-hand side. Elanga with a cross inside the area, played again by Chelsea. Is more or less the moment they get the ball, they play it back to Forest. The pressure is much, but nothing yet to gain from me. Chelsea puts under pressure once again, and Cowell needed to clear out for a corner kick against Chelsea.
They are literally playing into the hands of Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest know what they do: pile up the pressure, keep it untidy.
Exactly. Just put in the crosses, hope something falls for Woods or something.
Take away the breath from Chelsea defense, rattle them a little bit with all those long swings. And I don't think Chelsea have any corner in this game yet. It's all been Nottingham Forest in the first 24 minutes of this game.
I don't even know the jersey color. The goalkeeper for Forest.
Martials is having a swell time. In fact, he could have just rested out this game and given it to the second choice goalkeeper. But looking at the statistics right now, this will be the third corner for Nottingham Forest, and Chelsea just have one.
All right, we almost hitting the 25 minutes mark. It's still goalless at the City ground. And you must know it's a very important match, very important evening. There are 5 teams competing for 3 remaining places to qualify for next season's UEFA Champions League. Already, champions Liverpool and Arsenal have both booked their place in the Champions League already. I mean, never previously has 3 teams, or the Premier League had more than 3 teams competing for Champions League qualification on the final day. This is one of the best seasons when it comes to Champions League qualification from the league.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could also add the context to the fact that probably this is the first time in a while we're having 5 teams going from the table, not through the back door like the FA Cup or the Europa League, so to speak. So the increment in the number of slots has probably also increased the competition for those spots.
All right, quickly, let me just run through some of the results of games currently ongoing across the world so that you get updated. It's Bournemouth 0, Leicester City 0, Fulham 0, Manchester City 1, Ipswich 0, West Ham 0, Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 0, Aston Villa 0, Newcastle 0, Everton 0, Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 0. It's Southampton 0, Arsenal 0, Tottenham 1, Brighton 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Brentford 1. And in the NPFL, Bayelsa United 0, Remo Stars 0, Academy Warriors yet to score, Sunshine Stars already relegated yet to score, Eyimba 0, Plateau United 0, Heartland 1, Aqua United 0. And the thing is, in that game, once Aqua even gets a draw, it's not enough. A win is not even good enough for Aqua United. I mean,
it's kind of inconsequential for Aqua United now.
Exactly.
Only Heartland have something to play for. It's just like the Aston Villa Manchester United game. United are just saving face for that game. There's nothing they are playing for. Meanwhile, Aston Villa are trying to play for a place in the Champions League. So, again, these are the reasons why football, you cannot predict it.
You can predict the beautiful game, they call it. Sometimes it rolls your way. The other time you are on the receiving end. You just have, you need to have the stomach to harbor it. I mean, there was a time Manchester United was the most decorated, in the Premier League era. Are they still?
There are still 13 Premier Leagues in the titles in the current era since 1992.
Now the question is,
but since when?
Exactly. Would you love to be a United fan at this particular period?
I get them before no be property.
All right. To the extent that their last game of the season is inconsequential.
They may lose it. They may lose that game. In fact, still speaking of teams that have been horrendous but did well in other centers, Tottenham Forest and Tottenham Hotspur, they've lost 21 games this season. 21 out of 38, and they are still avoiding relegation too, just like United.
Well, we understand there's an update. Bournemouth are down to already relegated Leicester City, but that goal has been chopped off. In the MPFL, Lobby Stars already relegated also are down by 1-0 to visiting Bendel Insurance of Benin. So wherever you are, whichever of the matches you are interested in, you can be sure we'll be taking you there every moment of the way. And Ebuka from Karimo, he says, you guys are doing a good job. It's my first time texting. Thank you very much, Ebuka. You've been missing. This one says, Bumi Blair, good evening. Chelsea in the forest today. Wow. Who will save them from these guys? Jatau, with that message. Jatau, who will save Real Madrid? I should ask you. And this one is from El Trigger in Kaduna. And it says, Nottingham Forest will beat Chelsea and qualify for the Champions League. More like a prescription from you.
A prediction.
Prediction? Okay. Samson from Day Day, I see your message. I'm looking at it just like Nicholas Jackson is watching from the stand today.
Not a happy face.
Not a happy face. It's been injured for most of the time this season.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be the major striker for Chelsea this season, but he's not been able to do just that. He's scored 10 plus goals in both Premier League seasons, so far, but just one goal in his last 15 appearances since December 2022. One goal since December 2022.
You can continue to understand Chelsea's dilemma or misery in front of goal. I mean, look at this game, for example. Whenever Chelsea are on the ball, they try to resort to passing around because there's no central focal point. Yes,
Pedro Neto there's no target man.
Yeah, Pedro Neto may be there on paper, but he usually drifts away from the center because he's used to hugging the bylines. So Chelsea have that problem going forward. And you talked about Jackson. I think Jackson, he played the Newcastle game, but that was where he got red carded. And again, another thing he's dealing with is discipline. So all this is cumulative.
A chance from Chelsea. That's their first big chance. And Pedro Neto finds himself in an unfamiliar position. Couldn't convert. He was the number 9. He was found out by, I think, Cole Palmer. He needed to just guide the ball into the back of the net. Did all the work, but the finishing was missing. Yeah. And the missing piece is the most important part of it. The ball goes over the bar from just about 7 meters away from the goal line. Incredible miss.
Some will blame physics, some will blame gravity. But at the end of the day, Pedro Neto needed to do something better than that. At least, yes, he went with the right foot. You can't expect him to go down to head that ball or chest the ball. But if he hadn't put a lot of power in that shot, probably will have forced the save from the goalkeeper or hit the crossbar.
Maybe a little bit of direction too.
Yeah.
That would have helped his cause. And now a long ball targeting the goalkeeper who was off his line. And that could have been the opener for Nottingham Forest. While Chelsea were pushing forward, Nottingham Forest were also cracking and planning their own goal. I'm sure they must have seen Sanchez during the analysis coming off his line on several occasions.
Yeah, probably. And also in this game as well. One thing about footballers is they learn on the job. So in the game, they know when goalkeepers stray off their lines. And over time, we've seen football goals scored from the middle of the park, even a little further from the passing point. So, yeah, players know how to learn on the job. They know how to catch goalkeepers unaware. But on that occasion, I think it was the player that was unaware.
And you can join us, yes, on Facebook, on YouTube. You can join the live commentary. Yes, we are live.
Yeah.
On YouTube, it's at Nigeria Info Abuja. On Facebook, it is at Nigeria Info Abuja also. Drop a comment there, and I'll be here to read them to the whole world. All right. Once again, we go through some of the live results. We understand it could have been 2 at Anfield, but Crystal Palace scored another goal, which has been chopped off. Suko for Liverpool. At least they still have a chance with the game just at 1-0.
Yeah, they still have a chance. It's still 1-0 in about 4 centers out of 10. So we have 6 barren draws in other centers in the EPL. But in the MPFL, I think Rivers United have scored.
Yeah, Rivers United are ahead against Nasarawa United. They lead by 1-0. Yes, Rivers United, it's currently 37 minutes played. They scored just 2 minutes ago. So Rivers United lead 1-0 in that particular fixture. And Bendel Insurance also lead against Lobby Stars 1-0. Niger Tornadoes 1, Kano Pillars 1. That's the current score line with about 26 minutes on the clock. Joseph God's Time equalized after Rabiu Ali had gone ahead, had put Kano Pillars ahead in the 4th minute. You can join us. Tell us where your attention is. I see your message, Samson from Day, and he says Chelsea is going to be victorious. Yes, Uday Samson from Day. Thank you very much, something. And another one from Temitope in Gwagwalada says, Coach, I can only see one winner in this game today, and it's Chelsea winning by 2-0. Does it look like a game that Chelsea are likely to win by 2-0, Benga?
I've seen Chelsea play horribly and win games just with one Cucurella shot or with a goal from Jadon Sancho cutting in and then being ingenious for just 5 minutes out of 90 minutes. So it has happened like that for Chelsea, where you don't know where the goals will come from and it just comes. But for Nottingham Forest, I think they will be more willing to walk their way to goal, and that might be a problem because Chelsea aren't ready to give them that chance.
Well, their style of play is more traditional. They don't really work it from the back. They go long and try to win the first and the second ball, and with that, they've had so many goals from their top striker, Chris Wood, this season. Nottingham Forest, they are looking to become the 12th different English club to play in the Champions League, and the first debutant since Aston Villa, who also made their debut this season. And don't forget also, Leicester City made their debut in the 2016-2017, having won the title a season before. That was a magical season.
Absolutely. Some will call it a Cinderella season for them. And Nottingham Forest, it just shows you what intentions, good management and coaching can do for you. I remember a Newcastle side who were flirting with relegation, then brought in the Diao. That now from relegation took them to Champions League places. Just similar story to Nottingham Forest, thanks to change in ownership and bringing in an elite manager. Look at Napoli, for example. Last season, Walter Mazzari, Rudi Garcia, three coaches conspired to make Napoli a mid-table team. They finished 10th. Then it took only Antonio Conte to come back and bring back status quo to make them title winners once again. So you cannot underestimate good ownership and good coaching. CC, Chelsea, who are on the other side of the divide for this.
And to come back to the NPFL, Rivers United have been pegged back by visiting Nasarawa United. It's now 1-1 with about 5 minutes to the end of that encounter. And for the other games where we're expecting to see some reactions, I mean, no goal yet in Katsina United against Kwara United. Katsina United need to win that one to, guarantee their safety. And also El Kanemi against Sunshine Stars in Maiduguri. El Kanemi need to win or at least get a point for them to be safe. So far, with the current standing, Heartland might be, be safe at the end of the season. Well, if it ends like this, but I'm sure something will happen from other centers because most of those teams are playing at home.
Yeah, like we said, there's nothing Aqua United want to do that will help their case. So even if Aqua United win, Heartland is still safe, provided Heartland also win.
So Aqua United cannot win because they are playing against Heartland. So if they win, then Heartland will go down.
Will lose, so both of them cannot win.
Exactly. So one of them guaranteed
even if they win
to go down.
Heartland will still have more points because Heartland currently have 4 more points than Aqua. So even if Aqua win, Heartland still have more points even if they lose.
Okay, not really aware of that, but that's interesting.
Yeah. So let's see how it goes. Case in point, Aqua United hit Heartland. That game is quite controversial
now why you think Heartland. Now why you thinking they have more points is because they are
currently winning.
Yeah, because they are currently winning, and the table you see now is the live table. So that table is alive, so you can really judge me that one.
Because if you remove that 3 points from the one goal they scored, it takes them to 45.
Exactly.
Which is still higher than Aqua United's 44. Yeah.
Exactly. But if Heartland should lose,
it changes.
Everything changes. All right, your messages on the WhatsApp portal, a couple of them in once again. And this one says, Chelsea all the way next season in the UEFA Champions League. It's going to be a waste if Forest qualify for Champions League. Chelsea all the way, he says. All right, thank you very much. Lawi from New Nyanya, campaigning for Chelsea to be in the Champions League. And Tolu from Meitama says, can anything good come out of Chelsea? But let us laugh at Man U and Arsenal. I mean,
Chelsea are in the final of the Conference League. That's something good.
Manchester United were in the conference of the we're in the finals of the Europa League. Okoyemi from Live Cam says, good evening. Chelsea winning, no doubt. Okay, we wait to see. But I think Chelsea, they've done better than what we saw in the first 20 minutes. In the last, let's say, 18 to thereabout minutes. They've improved. They've had chances. They could have scored through Pedro Neto, that huge chance he missed. And now they are leading in terms of possession, 54 to 46.
Hopefully they can convert that possession dominance to something meaningful, because they still haven't found a way to beat the left back. Talking about Neco Williams, who's currently on the ball for Nottingham Forest. Noni Madueke has huffed and puffed, couldn't pass. Even Pedro Neto, who drifted to the right, has also been stopped on several occasions. Cole Palmer had to change his wing, coming to the right-hand side to see if he can beat Olaino or Murillo in defense. Still no hope. James has had to do right back, centre back, and DM positions in this game. But Nottingham Forest is just answering all the questions posed by Chelsea. And you can see that battle between James and Chris Wood, and it continues to look like it's going to be a long afternoon/evening for Chelsea and their fans.
All right, 5 minutes thereabout to the end of the first half. Taiwo Awoniyi comes to focus, and that's good news. He's okay, he's well, can attend the game, but we don't know when he will be back playing once again. He had a ruptured intestine, that should be about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he couldn't play since then. And, the medics didn't think it was that serious. He was allowed to continue to play, and that infuriated the owner. At the end of the game, came in animated on the pitch, and a lot of people thought that was disrespectful to the head coach of his team.
Yeah, to be clear, later we got to find out that he wasn't actually transferring his frustrations to the coach. They were both discussing, they were both frustrated about what transpired between the medical team and Taiwo Awoniyi. And I was of the opinion that moving forward, I don't think the bench should be giving in to players who are obviously suffering or enduring an injury and want to keep playing on. You are the medical staff, you are the professional, you take the final decision. If possible, in chains and saws, drag that player off the pitch. Because Taiwo Awoniyi had no business finishing that game. It's not like he's been their best striker. It's not like they cannot do without him, especially this season. Even Olaino raised a specific note. You would remember that in that instance, it was an offside instance. If the linesman had raised his flag before Olaino had to pursue that ball,
before Awoniyi had to chase
that ball, he may have not been involved with that clashing with the woodwork. So a lot of instances happened, and we would have to learn from it. But ultimately, players don't have the final say when it comes to their health. The medicals and the coach should, yes.
Well, he was placed in an induced coma for about 2 days, but he's now hale and hearty because he's in the stand. He's in the VIP stand, watching the game this evening.
Also enjoying solidarity from the fans who are with this banner all over. Even when players score,
whoa, that was close from Fulham. They almost got an equalizer, but almost in football means nothing. And West Ham, we understand, have gone ahead against Ipswich. James Ward-Prowse with the goal. I can bet that could be a free kick goal. And then Ikorodu City have also gone ahead against the Abia Warriors. I mean, Abia Warriors beat Ikorodu City to third position, and Ikorodu City will be hoping they can teach them a lesson today. Also, Arsenal are ahead against Southampton. Kieran Tierney with a rare goal for the Gunners.
Yeah, it's good you said rare, because actually it's his first goal this season. He hasn't scored, in fact, in 3 seasons.
That's interesting.
He hasn't scored in 3 seasons. Even when he was on loan at Real Sociedad, he didn't score a league goal. Yes, his job is not to score primarily, but just for statistics' sake, this is his first goal in 3 seasons, Kieran Trippier.
Well, if you say his job is not to score, I don't think any coach would like to hear that.
He's not a striker now.
We have to share the duty. Eimba are down by 1-0 against visiting Plateau United. 41 minutes on the clock currently. 44 minutes on the clock, I meant to say. almost going to halftime. Then Katsina United have found the back of the net. Mubarak Said scored in the 34th minute, and the lead against Kwara United 1-0. Yeah, I told you earlier, Rivers United 1, Nasra United 1. And Liverpool still down by 1-0 against visiting Crystal Palace. Heartland lead Aqua United 1-0. Isaac Nasi with a goal as early as the first minute. Isn't that interesting? First minute goal for Heartland, and since then there's been no goal. Niger Tornadoes 1, Kano Pillars 1. Pillars scored first, Tornadoes equalized.
And just to update for something that happened earlier today in the Confederation Cup, the CAF Confederation Cup final, I think we can now say Bekane are the champions of the CAF Confederation Cup. Bekane are the ones who represent Morocco in the CAF Confederation Cup. They defeated Simba over 2 legs. Simba represents Tanzania. The first leg ended 2-0 in favor of Bekane. The second leg was 1-1. So on aggregate, it was 3-1 in favor of Bekane and Morocco. So Morocco continued to do well in terms of club football.
Well, both countries are doing well as far as I'm concerned. I've been to Tanzania before.
Also, yeah.
And Morocco has been doing great in terms of hosting several competitions and also engineering football development on the continent of Africa. A couple of countries that play their international games out there in Morocco, save for the fact that they have some of the best facilities on the continent.
Yeah, CC South Africa as well.
Manchester United, Aston Villa is goalless. But guess what? Lisandro Martinez has been shown a red card.
Wow. Someone who hardly plays is getting a red card on a rare occasion.
Like, seriously?
How does that happen?
Red card to Martinez. Okay. Is there Martinez at Villa?
No, this Martinez is the goalkeeper, Emiliano Martinez.
Okay, Emiliano Martinez.
I was surprised. Lisandro Martinez
is out injured.
He's not even in the squad.
Actually,
Emiliano Martinez.
Emiliano Martinez.
Of Aston Villa.
Okay. Please pardon me.
So I think it's now a level playing field now.
How?
Aston Villa without their goalkeeper, they have come down to the level of United. So it's now a level playing field. They can even field an outfield player to replace the goalkeeper, no problem. Because United don't have any striker that would cause problem.
Wow, that's interesting. Martinez was built to leave Aston Villa at the end of the season, and now he's been sent to the stands earlier than needed. I'm sure he's not going to get the needed farewell.
Yeah,
that's not the best way to leave a club, getting sent off in your last game.
But to his defense, according to history, that will be his very first red card ever. He's never been sent off in any game. Talking about Emiliano Martinez as a goalkeeper, he's never been sent off. Even when he was at Arsenal, at Reading, at Sheffield Wednesday, at Oxford United, where he started, he's never been sent off. So if we would want to judge him by just one game, albeit his last, I think precedence should surpass that.
And Hamzi, I see your message on the WhatsApp. He says, this is the first time in many years that Manchester United's match has no significance. Lose, win or draw, it's high time they ship out 60% of the current squad and bring in fresh legs. And it's half-time at the City Ground. And at half-time, it is Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 0. All right, quickly, let's dive into the statistics of the game before we go for a break, just to refresh, to come in for the second half of all the games. Yes, 46 to 54% of possession in favor of Chelsea, and one big chance each for both sides. 2 shots on goal each for both sides. 3 corner kicks for Nottingham Forest, 1 in favor of Chelsea. And, those are the big things. And then 1 yellow card to Nottingham Forest also. I mean, the free kicks are not far away. 5 for Chelsea, 4 for Nottingham Forest. Not the kind of productive game you would have wished for, because there's no end product currently, but again, one might be tempted to say the second half could be more productive.
Absolutely, more productive, more tactical. I think that's when we will now start seeing the changes, be it in personnel or in formation. For Nottingham Forest, they have something more to gain because Chelsea can still go through the back door to play in Europe. For Nottingham Forest, they wouldn't want to have their season go without at least qualifying for the Champions League, seeing how brilliant they've been thus far. But for Chelsea, they are playing away from home. All the odds are against them, unfortunately. And I'm looking forward to probably some changes in the middle of the park to change the approach to the game because they really did nothing in the first half.
All right. Wilfred Ayisa on the Facebook page. He's obviously watching live. Yes, he says, sorry for Chelsea. They will not make it to top 4. Well, let's wait and see. Chelsea need a win. And they have 45 minutes to effect a win in their game. Right. More messages on the WhatsApp portal. And this one says, Bumi, can we say Liverpool and Crystal Palace are rehearsing the Community Shield at the end of the season and will continue the season's opener in August? Well, Taufik Lawal, obviously, that's what they are doing. Liverpool obviously are no longer interested. They are just celebrating.
Yeah. And, even Crystal Palace already have a wonderful season. So both of them are in celebratory mode.
Well, he says his Messi Joshua from Arco, and he says his prediction is Arsenal will beat Southampton 3-0. What will Arsenal gain from that? I'm just asking. This one is from Aminu Idris in Zone 4. He says, sorry, Chelsea, today is not your day. You will lose by 3-2. Up corners. That sounds like one of the bad Bella community.
Even Arsenal have nothing to play for, that's why.
And this one says, good evening. No need to watch Man United game because they have made my day unhappy. And he says United is like unstable water. No need for watching them play. James in Lugbe, obviously not happy with United. Yahaya from Suleja says Chelsea will lose to Nottingham Forest today. Europa League is where they are condemned to play next season. This one says, good evening, Coach and Benga. I think Forest should take Chelsea to the Forest and forget them there. Emmanuel from Suleja, he says it's Arsenal's last born. All right, you too can be a part of the show. Just drop a message for us on the WhatsApp portal. You can also call in to, have a chat with us. How do you think it's going to end? Will Chelsea make it to the Champions League? Does they have a chance? Still goalless currently? Or will it be a different story where they have to play? Now, let me ask Binga quickly. What do you think they deserve? Look at their squad. Look at the way they play. Look at the coach they have. And do they have the quality to play in the Champions League, or their best bet would be to play in the Europa League? I mean, they played in the Conference League this season.
So I think if we are going to learn from the precedence of the owner, Marinakis, when they came into the Premier League, what did they do? A total overhaul. They knew that what they had in the Championship wasn't going to be enough to tread the waters in the Premier League. So what did they do? Called back all their loanees, changed the book, and they did a total overhaul, bringing in about 20 plus players. Now, doing that, yes, they still struggled in their first season back, but it was a step in the right direction, and we saw that this season. They brought in a new coach, Nuno Espirito Santo, and look at how brilliant they've been this season. So going to next season for the Champions League, should they qualify? First off, we already discussed the financial ramifications. They'll be smiling to the bank. That way, they'll have to shock up shop, bring in players, not necessarily an overhaul, because at the moment they have a team that can play good football, from the goalkeeper to the defense to the midfield to the attack. But they would need to bring in at least 2 more players, world-class players, to go into the Championship. That is if they qualify. So I think they are kind of a reactionary club. Coming into the Premier League, they reacted by overhauling their team. So qualifying for the Champions League, they should be able to repeat the same feat by doing the needful in the transfer window. Not necessarily a overhaul like they did 2 or 3 years ago.
All right, Alamo Adenyoju, I see your message on the YouTube portal, and it says Chelsea all the way. Well, I hope you'll be able to say that at the end of the game. Let's go for a break. Let's take a break. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back to give you some more statistics and take your reactions to the halftime score. So quickly, let me repeat the halftime score for this one and other games. Yes, Bournemouth 0, Leicester 0. There is also Fulham 0, Manchester City 1, Ipswich 0, West Ham 1. Goals scored by West Ham by James Ward-Prowse. It's also Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. Ismaila Sarr with a goal in the 9th minute. It's goalless between Manchester United and Aston Villa, and Emiliano Martinez has been sent off in that game. The goalkeeper for Aston Villa has had a red card. Newcastle 0, Everton 0, Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 0. And that's the game we're following live. Then Southampton 0, Arsenal 1, Kieran Tierney with the only goal so far at halftime. Then Tottenham 1, Brighton 0. Yes, Tottenham looking to finish the season with a goal, with a win rather. Dominic Solanke with a goal from the penalty spot in the 17th minute. And Wolves are also down by 1-0 against Brentford. Brian Mbuemo with the goal in the 20th minute. In the MPFL, it's at halftime is Bayelsa United 0, Remo Stars 0, Academy Warriors 0, Sunshine Stars 0, Aimba 0, Plateau United 1, Heartland 1, Aqua United 0, Ikorodu City 1, Abia Warriors 1. Yes, Abia Warriors are pulled level. Yes, after they went behind in the 37th minute. Then let's say about 8 or 9 minutes later, they are back at out there in Lagos. So it's 1-1 in that particular encounter. Katsina United have also found the back of the net against Kwara United. Mubarak Said with the goal in the 34th minute. It's Lobby Stars 0, Bendel Insurance 1, Niger Senators 1, Kano Pillars 1, Rivers United 1, Nasra United 1, Shooting Stars 1, Enugu Rangers 1. Those are games going on currently in the NPFL. Let's take this break. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
This is where champions are made.
One of the smallest players on the pitch, who scores for the 4th time in a row against the Gunners.
This is where champions are celebrated.
And it's Kevin De Bruyne. Who else?
This is the home of champions. Football Frenzy. It's all about the game.
Oh, this game's the first goal of all the games that are taking place at the moment.
Catch up with the A-Team on Football Frenzy. Weekdays, 7 to 10 p.m. and weekends, noon to 8 p.m. Exclusive to 95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's talk and let's celebrate football.
This is an infomercial.
All right, Abuja, you're still live on your Let's Talk station, 95.1 Nigeria Info FM right here in the nation's capital. And the second 45 minutes of all the games in the Premier League are currently on, including matches in the NPFL. Going into halftime, we had a couple of matches that were very significant, or should I say results that were very significant to the relegation battle in the NPFL. Where one very big one is Heartland leading against Aqua United. And then Ikorodu City and Abia Warriors ended it 1-1 at halftime. Eimba currently are down by 1-0 against visiting Plateau United. Rivers United and Nasarawa United are currently playing out a 1-1 draw. Second 45 minutes already on. It's also a draw in the game going on in Ibadan. Shooting 1, visiting Enugu Rangers 1. Lobby Stars also put level before halftime, as they are currently holding visiting Bendel Insurance to a 1-1 draw. Katsina United found the back of the net before halftime and they lead Federation's Cup finalists, Kwara United, 1-0. Not forgetting that Chelsea have finally found the back of the net, and it's a very easy tap in for Kowe. Yes, they've been looking for it, and everywhere is buzzing currently. Easy peasy for Chelsea in the end. But will there be a chance for VAR to check?
Probably there may be, because it's looking like probably Kowe could have been offside, but good one for Chelsea opening the scoring in this game. We already talked about it in the halftime conversations. Chelsea will need to do something different. All they have is Pedro Neto. All they have is the fluid attack, and he's coming from a set piece. So yes, good one, Chelsea. Nice cross, nice finish. I think he was onside, but we are yet to see.
He was onside. Strode in from the back. No one picked him up. He puts it in the back of an empty net. I guess who assisted? Pedro Neto.
Repaying the manager's trust.
Yes.
As a false nine, like they usually call it.
A false nine providing assists here and there. And bad news for Arsenal fans. Southampton are back level. Barely 6 or thereabout minutes into the second half. Southampton back empowering against second placed Arsenal.
Some would say, maybe Arsenal are missing their head coach, Mikel Arteta, who is not in the dugout. It's the assistant who is in the dugout, Albert Stevenberg, is the one holding the fort. And even Southampton as well, they're having a makeshift manager in the dugout, in Simon Rosk. Yeah, and also, let's not forget, they've also announced a new coach that will take them in the championship, Will Steele. So, a lot of makeshift in that game between Southampton and Arsenal. Even the scoreline is makeshift.
All right. And Manchester United thought they had gone ahead, but their goal is being chopped off. Yes, it's still United 0, Aston Villa 0. And then Ipswich and West Ham, the goals are coming real fast. Just some 2 minutes ago, Nathan Broadhead had scored for Ipswich to level things or put it at 1-1. Then Jarrod Bowen has now put West Ham back ahead in that one. 3 goals in one game, 2 to West Ham, 1 to Ipswich.
And also, I think Manchester United thought they took the lead to take advantage of Aston Villa going down with one man, thanks to the red card to Emiliano Martinez. But the goal was chalked off for offside. So Bruno Fernandes will have to wait for his opener. The game is still 0-0 between United and Aston Villa.
And in the MPFL, Rivers United have scored a second as they lead Nasarawa United by 2-0. And it's 56 minutes on the clock currently in that encounter.
It's beginning to look like Gidigbo in that Nottingham Forest game versus Chelsea. Lots of physicality. Even Pedro Neto would not understand what hit him. He has to jostle through Murillo, Nico Williams, Olaino, all these tough defenders for Nottingham Forest. But at least he got the job done by creating a goal for Chelsea in this game. But they will, like I said, it's a long afternoon/evening for Chelsea. Hopefully they are able to maintain this lead.
Tosin Adarabioyo will need to be very careful. He can't afford to be complacent in the defense. With Chelsea leading by 1-0, they need to keep this lead. Jadon Sancho from the left combines with Cole Palmer. His cross is blocked by Nigeria's Olaino, and it is corner kick to Nottingham Forest with 54 minutes on the clock.
That should be to Chelsea.
To Chelsea, rather. Beg your pardon. Cowell or Neto, who will take it?
It's now 3-3. Once upon a time, it was 3-1 in terms of corner kicks in favor of Nottingham Forest. Now Chelsea, this will be their third corner kick. So 3 apiece for both teams. Neither of the teams have been able to leverage on it, except from Chelsea's goal anyway.
They've taken a shot. Pedro Neto gets it back from Cole Palmer. But Forest attempts to clear. The referee seems to have spotted an infringement in favor.
The ball hit him. The ball hit the referee.
It hits the referee.
So spoilt their
counter-attack move. And Elanga might be the man coming out, or what do you think? Hudson-Odoi being prepared.
I don't think Elanga should leave. I was even surprised that Hudson-Odoi was starting from the bench in this game. He's been impressive alongside Elanga, but probably because of the formation, and Gibbs White is the sole number 10 rather than playing as wingers, which is why he didn't start. So probably if someone from the middle, probably a Sangare or an Anderson, would have to leave so that he can now go back to wingers. Hudson-Odoi on the left, Elanga on the right, then Chris Wood through the middle.
Well, for Elanga, he had 126 appearances for Chelsea, 16 goals for the Londoners between 2018 and 2022 before he was sold to Nottingham Forest for just £5 million in 2023.
He had that potential. Talking about Odoi, he had that potential, but
Chelsea could not harvest it.
Yeah, he couldn't cut it. It's just like a certain Ruben Loftus-Cheek as well, who usually showed potential but really didn't cut it, doing the Lord's work with AC Milan anyway. So Odoi, I was surprised with his breakthrough with Nottingham Forest. Even Elanga, once upon a time, Man U reject. Look at what he's doing with Nottingham Forest.
And Forest trying to play out from behind, which is what almost every team is copying currently, or they have copied. Pep Guardiola made it popular in this generation. But some people fail to understand. He had Messi, he had Busquets, he had Xavi, he had Iniesta. I mean, these are players who made playing out from the back easy.
More importantly, he had defenders who were good on the ball. Piqué, Puyol. These guys are good on the ball. Jordi Alba. So for teams, even in the Premier League when he came to Man City, he also had to get ball-playing defenders like Ruben Dias, Gvardiol, Nathan Ake at some point. So you need your defenders and goalkeepers to also be comfortable on the ball to even kick-start building from the back in the first place before you get to the midfield.
And it's going to be Sangare, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, Sangare going out for Hudson-Odoi.
As predicted.
He's going to try to score against his former team. He has a lot of time to do that, by the way.
He does. And he's looking certain or intent on doing that.
56 minutes on the clock. And the Shooting Stars have gone ahead against Enugu Rangers. Wow. What a chance for Chris Wood. And he conspired with his foot to shoot it over the bar, though he was in an offside position.
Yeah, probably that was why the Chelsea defense also left him, because they knew he had been standing there for God knows how long. Probably an offside trap set for him, and he fell for it.
With VR, you can't be sure. You need to do your job. And then
they were looking at him. I think it was Cucurella, who was the last man before him, saw him in an offside position and just let him be. Sometimes these defenders know how to calculate. More often than not, you have to be correct, because if you are not, it hits you hard.
And don't forget, you can join us on YouTube, on Facebook, make comments, watch us live. On Facebook, it's at Nigeria Info Abuja. Same thing on YouTube at Nigeria Info Abuja. We are live, Umi and Benga, giving you live updates from all the centers in Europe as well as the NPFL as the matches go down on the final day of the season, with a lot still to play for. And Manchester City must have thought they probably got a penalty or something, but not a penalty.
Courtesy the UFC player at Fulham, Adama Traore. That's the only thing you can say he brings to the game: physicality.
He also has speed.
He doesn't have skill.
He has speed.
Well,
he crossed into the area targeting Chris Wood, cleared by Caicedo. It's been a revelation this season. I mean, after the huge money Chelsea paid to sign him, he's finally paying Chelsea back. He's Chelsea's player of the season.
Yeah, Mrs. Caicedo, he is. Absolutely. Sometimes I mention his name on air and people think, oh, I just like him. I've been saying it even since the start of the year, in January, February. Caicedo was one of those consistent players. Yes, Gravenberch for Liverpool won the Young Player of the Season. Also as a DM, he's been immense for Liverpool. But talk about that physicality, that sheer intent, the ability to transit from defense to attack. Caicedo has mastered that this season. So I was quite glad. If only he had a Romeo Latvia who was as fit as he was to play a lot of games alongside him. Personally, I don't even see Fernandes as his better half. I think Latvia plays better beside Caicedo than Fernandes. But for Caicedo as an individual player, he has been immense. He has been brilliant.
And just to cap it up, Caicedo has the most possession won in the Premier League this season, 223. He also has the most interception in the league, 49. And tackles won, 70 for Chelsea in the Premier League this season before this game.
Best DM in the league, unarguably.
Ruben Amorim must be thinking, should I resign? I mean, he's been frustrated. I remember his first interview when he joined Manchester United, like, I am made for this. I wonder if he will still think the same way currently.
He's made for enduring. He's made for long suffering because that's exactly what he's brought to Manchester United. I mean, how do you win just 6 games in 26? How do you get just 9 points in 5 months? I mean, how do you reduce a team to fighting for their lives in the Premier League and also have no backdoor to come into Europe? Probably it's a blessing in disguise going into next season. Now they have to rebuild, playing just 1 game per week. Probably. We remember once upon a time, Chelsea had that opportunity. They were still trophyless, even when they had nothing to do in Europe. So for United and for Amorim, it's looking like a toxic marriage from the start. Hopefully the transfer window breathes some sense of fresh air.
And there's been some substitutions in some of the games, including some of them in the English Premier League. Let me also let you know it's still goalless between Newcastle and Everton. Everton are a very difficult team to beat these days with David Moyes back in charge.
Absolutely. One would even ask if they deserve to be where they are on the table.
Don't forget, when he came in, they were cutting relegation.
Yes.
And he's been able to steady the ship and give them a fight, you know.
It's more of the reasons why it is hard for anybody to give excuse for Amorim, back to Amorim and Manchester United, because you can see when coaches bring impact into a club. Go check Bayer Leverkusen before Xabi Alonso came. Go check Liverpool. Yes, Liverpool had to struggle to even finish in European places last season, but see how they became brilliant under Arne Slot just in 1 season, right? So you can know a manager that knows what he wants to achieve when it comes into a club. Nuno Espirito Santo with Nottingham Forest. But Amorim at United, you can't even point to something working. Even if they are losing games but playing well, you can say, okay, this is the identity. Nothing is working.
Yes. 67 minutes. Bournemouth 0, Leicester City 0, Fulham 0, Manchester City 1, Ipswich 1, West Ham 2, Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 0, Aston Villa 0. United playing against a 10-man Villa with Martinez sent off in the first 45 minutes.
And all they can show for it is an offside goal so far.
Goal did not count. That's what it means. And in this one, 63 minutes on the clock. A goal separates Nottingham Forest and Chelsea, and that goal could be rich enough to guarantee Chelsea a Champions League place.
Yes, and even Man City also leading in their game also guarantees them a Champions League place. So it's looking like Nottingham Forest are going to be the victims on this occasion, because as things stand, at least Nottingham Forest to make Conference League, at least, because they are still better than Brighton.
And Chelsea are looking to qualify for the Champions League for the 20th time in their history. Only Manchester United and Arsenal have done so more often. You remember, under Arsene Wenger, Champions League was the must. It was like a trophy for the Gunners.
Yeah, it was. These days, second position is the trophy. It's not my handwriting.
Okay. Let's go to the possession. Chelsea's dominance has been reduced by 2%, 52% to 48%. And it seems Forest are pushing a little bit harder than they did towards the end of that first 5 minutes.
Chelsea still trying to struggle for fitness. Earlier, I saw Cole Palmer limping. He's still on the pitch anyway. Now there's been a clash of legs between Noni Madueke and the Nottingham Forest player. It's looking like it's going to be in favor of Nottingham Forest, talking about the free kick.
Yeah, Noni didn't get there first.
Still on the tough, both players.
That looks like Dominguez. And that gives the coaches an opportunity to have a chat with the players on the tactics to adopt remind us to the tactics adopted for the game.
Absolutely. And probably what will be going through Nuno Espirito Santo's mind is, I just made the change, taking out one central midfielder in Sangare. If I knew that Dominguez would be going down and probably have fitness issues, I would have waited to bring out Dominguez and still have a fit Sangare playing this game. So now you've taken out one of your central midfielders, probably your DM. Dominguez is also another central midfielder, is down, injured. Are you going to change another central midfield? That probably weakens the midfield for Nottingham Forest and enhances that for Chelsea. So it's looking like a tough time or a dilemma for Nuno at this time. And Chelsea, of course, are leading in the scoreline.
If you have some fingernails for sale, this might be the time to publish it because the fans are eating deep into their nails out there at the City ground, wondering if their team will hold on to this 1-0 lead. Not Nottingham Forest fans, but Chelsea fans. They lead, but they are not sure if it's going to be a lead to the end.
That has been their story. They are no longer confident in taking the lead. They've lost a lot of points from winning positions, sometimes going on to lose the game from winning positions. You can see the captain galvanizing his team, talking about Rhys James. Tosin Adarabi, you're being the interpreter. You say when they speak, you say that kind of thing, and that is what Tosin is doing on that occasion. Even the coach has to come into all of the conversation with Pedro Neto, saying, "You are the one that we have the hope for." Dominguez has picked the injury, so you see more problems for Nuno.
It looks bad than we earlier thought. Dominguez is being helped out by the two medics, and the coach is forced to make another change.
Yeah, I think Yates.
Yes, I think Yates, Ryan Yates, is going to come in his place. But they will hope that the injury to Dominguez will not keep him out for long.
Well, they have the whole summer to plan for that. Nothing concerning Nottingham Forest with the Club World Cup. So they won't have anything competitive, so to speak, in pre-season.
How long is the preseason? How long is the break? Just maybe a month or thereabout.
But it's more than what other top teams would ask for, because the likes of Chelsea, Real Madrid, Inter Milan, these clubs don't have the option but to play their top players in the Club World Cup. Some of those players will also play in the international break in July and the later part of June. So for Nottingham Forest, they hardly have that issue.
They already have Taiwo Awoniyi out, Eric Da Silva Moreira also out. Morello only made this game after passing late fitness test. So more injury worries for probably UEFA Europa League bound Nottingham Forest.
Yes, more injury woes. So probably to be in their best interest to just qualify for the Conference League. It's still a good season seeing they qualify for Europe, but Conference League will be better or will be easier to wade through than the Champions League.
And yes, Nottingham Forest, just like Binga said, they have already secured European football for next season. The first time in Europe since the 1995-1996 season. And they were in the qualification series for the UEFA Champions League.
Yeah.
By the way, they are unbeaten in their last 3 Premier League games. However, they won 2 of their last 7 games since April. They've been in bad form compared to what they were at the beginning of the season. All right, you can join us on the WhatsApp portal. I see a whole lot of messages right here. This one says, good evening. And it says, on your observation, Amorim case is different from the rest of the coaches mentioned by you. Amorim met a club already in identity crisis And the worst of it all is that the players he met doesn't fit into his playing style and are lazy to adapt as well. These are excuses, my friend.
Yeah, excuses. If they don't want to adapt, why Shaki Kori and remain on instilling a progress? It's just like pouring water on a rock or fetching water into a basket. I made examples of Newcastle, 19th. See what Eddie Howe turned them into. I made the example of Nottingham Forest that is currently playing against Chelsea. From a relegation battling team to a team fighting to play in Europe. In fact, already sailing Europe. I mean, a lot of examples you can bring in. Look at Fabregas and Como. Como are a newly promoted side, and they will finish 10th. They've already finished 10th in the Serie A. Almost give Inter Milan a run for their money, but although Inter Milan won that game. So you would see when a coach brings in something different to a team.
All right, Jamil from Jua, thank you for your message. And update, Manchester City have a penalty against Fulham. And it's looking like Erling Haaland is preparing to shoot that one into the back of the net. 71st minute. We await that one. Then Bournemouth have gone ahead against Leicester City. They lead by 1-0. And earlier, Liverpool might have done themselves a lot of bad when Ryan Gravenberch was sent off in the 68th minute. So they now play 10 against 11 against the Crystal Palace side that are champions in the FA Cup.
From award to getting a red card, Ryan Gravenberch.
And Arsenal thought they had put themselves ahead once again. Oh, yes, it was actually Southampton that scored an own goal, but that has been disallowed.
Still 1-1.
Still 1-1.
Speaking about Haaland penalty, he's missed 2.
He has scored this one, by the way. So, Haaland with a second goal.
Yeah.
This one from the spot. Cool finish. Sent the goalkeeper the wrong way.
Unfortunately, he won't win the Golden Boot this season.
I mean,
that's for Salah already.
It's down. Would you say it's down to him not being in form or something? Or
there was a time he was injured too,
okay.
So that also plays a part. I mean, it's the same thing for La Liga. Lewandowski was out for a period, and look at Kylian Mbappe, 5 more goals than Lewandowski. I think Mbappe has 30 league goals. So these things happen.
And you won't believe it, guys. Aston Villa, with 10 men, have gone ahead against Manchester United, not at Villa Park, at Old Trafford.
I believe it.
Emiliano Martinez was shown a red card in the 45th minute, but fast forward to the 73rd minute, Villa are ahead with 10 men against Manchester United. I'm sure the fans will be, their resolve to keep Amorim will be well tested in this summer.
And their resolve to keep Onana. That's another kettle of fish.
And Haruna from Dutse, he says, good evening, Benga and Sports Prime Minister. Arsenal won treble at least. 2023, second place. 2024, second place. 2025, second place. And he says that is a treble.
Mm-hmm. Even if it's not a season treble.
And Usman from Mabuchi says, Moises Caicedo is our best player of the season. Okay. And Moses from Maraba, a lot of Moses is on the show today. Says this current situation of Manchester United, even God himself sometimes sit down and says, oh my God.
Abi, and the Lord said to my Lord.
Austin from Garuka, it's still Forest down by 1-0. Goal scored by Leville Cowell after a set piece and an assist from Pedro Neto. And Tony Temidayo from Lambata says, I'm believing Chelsea will win this game by 2-0 or 2-1. He says we are back in the Champions League next season.
Some people predicted 3-2 in favor for Nottingham Forest, so that can still happen mathematically.
And Ibuka says, you guys are doing a great job. It's my first time of testing. He says, come on, Chelsea. We can do it. Yes, he says. And Kamata says, Man United is supposed to play relegation playoff with Ipswich Town, Southampton and Leicester because there's no difference between them all.
Well, this is not the Belgian Jupiler Pro League. That's where they do those kind of things.
United will not be relegated. Rufus from Rubochi is asking if they end 16th, if they will be relegated. Manchester United.
Funnily enough, I was going through the point count. The 20th team in the MPFL has more points than Southampton in 20. Southampton has 13 points from 38 games. Meanwhile, Lobby Stars have 26 points. That's 13 plus 13 times 2 of what? So can we say the MPFL was more competitive than the Premier League this season?
Of course, the MPFL is more competitive.
All right.
Whether the standard is higher or better than Premier League,
That's
is something
left to be seen.
You can't argue it.
Yeah, but in terms of the disparities between big and small teams, I think it's much more competitive than the Premier League, where it's a very wide gap.
And thank God from Asokoro says Chelsea will win, but they will not win the Conference League. Lucky from Mabuchi says, okay. Says if Chelsea should play a draw, will Nottingham Forest qualify? It depends on results from all. A draw is not good enough for Chelsea.
A draw is not good for both of them if the results go well in the other sides. So both of them will be out of Europe if they draw. But now Chelsea is leading. It's better for Chelsea, not good for Nottingham Forest, who are currently in 6th. That's the Conference League position.
And Kola says Benga saying red card to Aston Villa keeper brings Man United equal with Aston Villa is a blow below the belt. Says Benga don't see Manchester United finish. Oh my show.
Not my fault.
Well, Liverpool's Gravenberch has been sent off and they are down by 1-0. Goal scored by Ismaila Sarr for Crystal Palace in the 9th minute. And we are getting closer to the last 10 minutes of the game.
And it seems like there's a plot twist in that United-Aston Villa game. So, the goal scored by Aston Villa was chalked off by VAR. So it was back to 0-0. And guess what? Amad Diallo, my Man U player of the season, has given United the lead. So what we thought was misery is looking like miracle for United, who now lead against the 10-man Aston Villa. So Amad Diallo with a wonder goal in the 77th minute for United.
So Villa's goal chopped off, and then Manchester United have replied with a proper goal, and Amorim can smile at least for a minute.
Yeah, he can. So those of us that were bantering Man United some seconds ago, delete your drafts. United are leading.
And redraft again.
Yeah.
And a little bit jump back to the MPFL. Bayelsa United lead Remo Stars 1-0. These champions are not championing the way we want it. There's anything like that.
That's Liverpool now. Yeah. They are not playing like champions. I think we can allow them. They've won the league already. There's nothing to play for. So.
And can you imagine, with over 72 minutes played in Maiduguri, Sunshine Stars yet to score, Academy Warriors yet to score.
And then Kameni need that game.
They will be relegated
they need
if they
game.
Don't win that game. At least a draw. But I believe something should happen for them in the last few minutes or something or thereabout. Or that game will not end until... Okay, there's a little bit of drama going on out there at the City ground.
And Taylor has distributed the yellow card to at least 2 people. For starters, before even dissecting the issue, 2 Chelsea players on the top, Cucurella and Caicedo, James having a word with Taylor. I mean, scuffle here and there, but it's looking like the foul will be in favor of Chelsea. But then, emotions were all around the place.
And it seems Anthony Taylor is not done. I don't think that was deliberate.
But that was an elbow to the face. It's consistent for a foul.
Yeah, that should be a foul. But whether it should elicit the kind of reactions we've seen. Whoa! I mean, there was a double foot challenge on Ola, no?
But it was Cucurella who was at the receiving end. And I think this is where it started. And if you notice, in this game, Nottingham Forest has been more physical against Chelsea. I think it was Kopama that was even a victim more often than not in this game. it's a surprise how there's no red card in this game yet. But Nottingham Forest need to watch their back because they are becoming too physical, and probably that's why that reaction from Chelsea players occurred.
And it's looking like Tosin Adarabioyo and Ola Aino have been booked by Anthony Taylor, both of them with Nigerian roots. One eventually decided to play for Nigeria. The other said he wants to play for England, but waiting till when he will get the invite. And Liverpool finally are back level. 5 minutes to go. Liverpool have drawn level. It's Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1 with 5 minutes to go. Guess who scored? The Egyptian king himself, Mo Salah.
What we wanted him to do was break the assist for a season. He still has 18 anyway. If he was able to at least make it 20, he would equal both Thierry Henry and Kevin De Bruyne. But he's still scoring. Already broke the record of goal and assist contributions in the season. And Salah doesn't want to remember that this is the final match day.
And a trip back to Lagos. Ikorodu City and Abia Warriors have produced 5 incredible goals. 3 in favor of Ikorodu City, 2 to Abia Warriors. Tosin Oyedokun, Ayomide Cole are among the goal scorers for Ikorodu City. And Sunday Mego, Paul Alo Samson also have scored for Abia Warriors. But that's not all. There are also other dramas going on across the world. Shooting stars are shooting every arrow in the direction of Rangers, and Rangers are falling like packs of cards. Ibrahim Sadiq has banged at least a brace, and there has been 3 other goals for shooting stars, making it 5 goals for shooting, 1 to Enugu Rangers. This is a total disgrace. Destruction, annihilation. I mean, happening out there in Ibadan.
Yeah, for Rangers, I think they have to do better going into next season. They have a Fidelis Ilechukwu
who has signed a new 2-year contract.
Yes, coupled with the fact that he has also gained some experience with the national team, understanding players beyond the local league, probably getting some pointers from the then Portuguese coach, now Pesero, and now Malian coach. I mean, he's learning from different people. He has learned from a Nigerian, he has learned from a Portuguese.
I mean, since the time he joined the national team, the results has not been good. Maybe he's learning the wrong things or giving out the wrong things.
Or you will now have to give him time to replicate what he's learned next season for Rangers. I think it's the same thing now that will apply to Eyimba, who, I mean, they were defending champions when, and look at their season, how awful it has gone thus far. But kudos to Ikorodu City, at least they can seal 4th place at the end of proceedings.
And West Ham have gone ahead. I mean, 2 goals difference between them and Ipswich now. Mohamed Kudus, the Ghanaian boy, has got a 3rd for West Ham, who now lead against Ipswich 3-1.
And Olaino has been substituted in this game. So he's out, and Yota Silva was coming for Olaino.
He was on a yellow card, and I guess the coach didn't want to risk losing Aino. I mean,
but it's the final day now. Losing for win.
Well, if he gets booked, he would take it to next
season, yes.
And some few minutes ago, Anthony Taylor was busy distributing yellow cards. One went to Caicedo, 1 to Tosin Adarabioyo, 1 to Aino. Anderson also got 1, so
2-2 apiece.
2-2 apiece. Well, that's a draw, but the game is not on the same level.
Yeah,
Chelsea lead 1-0 with barely 5 minutes or thereabout to the end of this one. And Brighton are teaching Tottenham football lessons out there at the Tottenham Stadium. Jack Henshawood with a brace already, and then Matt O'Reilly just made it 3 from the penalty spot. Dominic Solanke had scored the only goal for Tottenham. It was the earliest goal in the 17th minute, but they are now down by 1-3 against visiting Brighton.
They had the first half, Brighton having the second half. Brighton would want to finish on a high, looking at how their season had gone. Another literal mid-table team, currently 8th on the log above Bournemouth and Brentford. So I don't think Tottenham would beat an high lead on this game. They've done what they have to do in this game. They've won a trophy and they can just take a holiday.
And probably the most famous quote of the season: "I always win a trophy in my second season."
Ange Postecoglou.
Remember that.
Yeah.
By the way, Bournemouth 2, Leicester 0. Both goals scored by Antoine Semenyo. I think he's a player that should be playing for a bigger club next season, including their manager.
Absolutely.
Andoni Iraola.
It's been a very good season for them. Very, very good season for Bournemouth. They are just some points behind Brighton. That's why they are 9th. But Bournemouth has been good. You can also say they have a good left back in, I think, Kekesh or so. So they have good an array of players. But going into next season, they have to do something different.
And as we wind down on the clock in this one, just to remind you, Nottingham Forest have lost 5 of the last 6 games. Anthony Taylor has refereed. A run of 5 straight defeats came to an end with a 3-2 home win against Southampton in January. But it's looking like they will be back to the defeats with Anthony Taylor handling the whistle.
And I'm yet to see any foul play in his officiating today. So probably it's down to fate.
Fate or poor game. I mean, they have not done well in this game. Chelsea's been practically holidaying. It's been an easy game for Chelsea, though they didn't have possession in the first half, but they were really not troubled.
Yeah, so which is why it's looking like Chelsea's formation and approach paid off. Maresca didn't overthink it this time. Started James where he's supposed to start him. Started Kukwela where he's supposed to start him. Started with Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, although didn't start with a proven striker. It was Pedro Neto. But guess what? Pedro Neto was the one who created the only goal we've witnessed in this game. So probably the approach to the game was paying off for Maresca. But for Nuno, not starting Odoi, I feel, is the reason why they are behind in this game.
And back to Old Trafford, Christian Eriksen could be signing off on a high. He scored from the spot and is now Manchester United 2, Villa 0. 87th minute goal, making it 2 for Manchester United. And then Heartland are giving themselves and their fans hope. They have now banged in a second goal, Daniel Victor Ekpo with a second, and they will be hoping that other results from other centers can come in their favor. Currently, El Kanemi Warriors are yet to score, and if it ends that way, well, Heartland might survive.
Yeah, in fact, a win for Heartland sees them survive because the person they are playing against is Aqua United, who is their only obstacle to remaining in the league.
No, a win. It's 4 teams to go on relegation, not 3. So
3. Oh, that's true.
4. So
that extra spot.
Yeah, Heartland we need to win and hope that one of El Kanemi, Tornadoes, and Casina United don't win for them to stay in the league. And currently, Casina United, with 8 minutes to go, lead Kwara United 1-0. Then Academy Warriors are playing a goalless draw with Sunshine Stars, 83 minutes on the clock. And then you talk about Casina United. They also lead Kwara United 1-0. I'm trying to find out the result of what's it called now? Niger Senators, they lead Kano Pillars now by 2-1. So they will be safe.
Yeah, they will be safe. At the moment, Heartland are 16th on the live table, so to speak. They're 16th. El Kameni 17th. Aqua United 18th.
And Chelsea father from Piakasa, he says, I'm so glad that Chelsea have made it to top 4. Sorry for all the bad Bele community. It's not yet done.
Yeah, it's still a scoreline, not a result.
And this one says, oh, I need to confirm that Newcastle are in trouble. 90 minutes, and they are down by a goal scored by Carlos Alcaraz. in the 65th minute. What could this mean to Newcastle's season?
They are still in the Champions League.
They are still in the Champions League, but City have gone ahead of them. And
the reason why they're in the Champions League is thanks to Aston Villa, who
have they have a better goal difference than Aston Villa.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Thanks to Aston Villa, who are not giving them any troubles.
But it's the same number, 66 points, and you know, Chelsea could climb ahead of them if Chelsea can score an extra goal or something.
So wait, it's 2-0 to United.
Yeah.
After Amad Diallo scored, there's a goal from Eriksen. So it's 2-0 to United, which is why Aston Villa would continue to be under Newcastle.
Yes, it's 2-0. We reported that. Yes. Eriksen from the spot.
So Newcastle are gaining from Aston Villa's defeat.
And Chelsea have now moved on to 4th position.
Yes, because Newcastle themselves are also losing.
Yeah, so it's Newcastle are down to 5th.
Nottingham Forest down to 7th.
And all this result has not helped Forest. Only a win would have helped.
Chelsea will be smiling. At least top 4 would look like a decent season for them.
Would Awoni have helped them if he was fit?
I don't think so. Chris Wood has 20 plus goals. So what else would Awoni have done?
Yeah. Toyosi, I see your message. So this is Toyosi from Apo. Cucurella deserves to be awarded with at least an award this season. He has been so brilliant, Toyosi says.
I don't think he will be given the best left back, because some would say Miles Lewis-Kelly of Arsenal performed better. But I agree, Cucurella has been brilliant.
And Jami from Joa says, thank you, Ahmad. Manchester United fans deserve to breathe. We reset and come back stronger next season.
Now look at this. A ball came to Cole Palmer. He's not the attacker, but he's the farthest when receiving the ball. So he couldn't even run forward with the ball because there was no player ahead of him. And that's the problem with Chelsea, and which is what they should be concerned about going into next season. The attacking phase of their game is poor.
Maybe they just want to preserve the win, the 1-goal lead.
When you are on the ball, you have the advantage. I said the same thing for Tosin. What's his surname now? Arokundade in the last game where Nigeria was playing Zimbabwe. Yes, you came in as a substitute for Victor Osimhen, but you just have one line to beat and you're on the ball and you are leading. If your excuse at that time is you are preserving a goal and that stops you from creating more chances, that mindset, I struggle with the mindset. On this occasion, Chelsea should be going for it, going for the killer, going for the assurance goal, and not sitting all 10 players behind the ball.
It's 8 minutes added?
I would have to confirm that.
Yeah, either 8 or 6, a little bit far. And Chelsea, we need to defend a corner kick to stay in the Champions League. I guess Newcastle losing has also helped their cause. It's full time. Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1, Bournemouth 2, Leicester 0. It's full time in those games. Also, Tottenham lost 1-4 to Brighton. Destruction of Ange Postecoglou. With this result, do you think
even with
Ange should be sacked?
Yeah, I got even after clinching the Europa League, I felt he needs to go, because generally he struggled to make Tottenham Hotspur better.
How did Wood not hit the back of the net with that one? Control the ball right behind the whole of the defense after a very good through pass, and just couldn't hit the back of the net.
He was disturbed.
He was disturbed by the foot of Tosin Darabioyo, who stretched the farthest. And that should have been a corner kick. Wood can't believe he has missed from that position.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a corner.
The referee didn't see that, but from the replay you could see Tosin got the last touch on the ball. By the way, in the NPFL, Niger Tornadoes 3, Kano Pillars 0. Heartland might have to worry with 8 minutes to the end of this game. Aqua United have pulled one back So it's Heartland 2, Aqua United 1. Bayelsa United lead Remo Stars by 2-0.
In the final stages of this Man City Fulham game, it's looking like only Fulham are playing football, but they still haven't been able to find at least a goal back. City are relaxing, allowing Fulham play all the balls. Alex Iwobi probably has painted the entire pitch red with his heat map, but still nothing for Fulham, who are at home, by the way.
And at St. Mary's, right?
Yeah.
Southampton lost to Arsenal with Martin Odegaard scoring a 90th minute goal. The savior, Martin Odegaard. Southampton won, Arsenal 2. It ended in that one.
Officially, Southampton lost 30 games this season. In a 38-game season, they lost 30.
How many did they win?
2. Even Sheffield United that conceded 104 goals about 2 seasons ago didn't lose up to this. They didn't lose up to 30. In fact, Sheffield United, if I can remember, they won about 4 or 5 games. How can you win only 2, lose 30? Anyway, they've gotten a new coach in Wales still. Let's see what Southampton do in the championship next season.
Well, good luck to them. They are not in the Premier League. There will be less attention on them.
Yeah.
We only know if they crave about them maybe when they come up again.
Yeah, but I pity for Aaron Ramsdale anyway. Once upon a time, he was like the chief cornerstone at Arsenal, but now he's rejected.
He's been relegated with at least 2.
The same Southampton twice.
All right, Ipswich also lost 1-3 in their last game in the Premier League this season to West Ham. Eyimba lost at home to Plateau United, 1-0. And then it's 90 minutes in the game between Sunshine Stars and Ekanemi. Wow. If Ekanemi do not score a winner, then they will be relegated.
Yes, in 17th.
I never believed this could happen. I mean, like in Maiduguri and relegation at stake, that's huge. That's huge. But it's not yet over. It's Ekanemi we talk about now. It's over at the Craven Cottage. Fulham 0, Manchester City 2. And Manchester United's game is already winding to an end, with United leading by 2-0. Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen and Amad Diallo. I mean, it should have been an easy game against a 10-man Aston Villa.
If not that Aston Villa's goals were struck off for offside, they would have been in the lead.
An offside goal is not a legitimate goal, is it?
At all, it's not.
Okay, of course. Shooting Stars currently hammering Enugu Rangers 5-1. I wonder what happened to them in Enugu.
Wow, you can see Nottingham Forest fans expecting that one goal back, at least looking for how they can draw.
A
this
draw
game.
would have helped them, put them back in the Champions League places.
Well, it isn't going to be at the moment. Maresca and Chelsea look like they've sealed this one. It's already 8 minutes added on played fully.
Friday from Itama says, now wow, Chelsea don't win trophy today. Anyway, nice one from my team, Manchester United.
It's over.
And that's it. Maresca finishes with a team in the Champions League place. And he smiles and blows kisses to the fans. Mwah, 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 mwah. I can only imagine the joy. And there they go. They celebrated.
Of course.
It was a very difficult season.
Very. Even when it felt like they could have been title contenders at some point. They went back to title pretenders. Now had to be just so for the Champions League spot. At some point, people even thought they won't even make Europe at all. Now they've done that, making Champions League. Less pressure going to that Conference League final with Real Betis. And good one for Maresca, who has ticked the objective of the season.
And a couple of messages. Donald in Kubwa says, it is well. Our enemies should take their medicine tonight. Blues all the way. And who wins the Golden Gloves Award at the EPL? Mr. Sajini asking that one.
Marcels and Raya came into this game level on clean sheets. So Arsenal's game, they conceded.
They conceded a goal.
Nottingham Forest also conceded.
Yeah.
So it's still level.
Maybe two players will get it.
Yeah, I've seen goalkeepers share golden gloves. So yeah, it's going to happen between Martials and David Raya.
And Bayelsa United also have increased their lead against Remo Stars, and this gets me worried. 3-0. They lead against Remo Stars. And this is Remo Stars that is supposed to represent Nigeria in the Champions League next season. Losing to a team in the league, 3-0. Bayelsa United.
These things happen. It's the final day, and like we said, teams that win the league usually don't take these games serious. So I would also not take this particular game serious because they already did the needful when the league was on. Talking about Remo Stars.
And talking about seriousness, Kano Pillars are still pushing. They scored a second against Tornadoes, though Tornadoes still lead by 3-2.
Yeah, so in case you want to know who the top 7 are, we'll be playing in Europe from the log. Liverpool first, Arsenal second, Man City third, Newcastle and Chelsea 4th and 5th. Those are the Champions League teams. The team that will play in the Europa League, Aston Villa and Tottenham will also play in the Champions League because they won the Europa League final. So 6 teams from the EPL will play in the Champions League. Aston Villa would also play in the Europa League, and Nottingham Forest will have to settle for Conference League.
Well, that's very interesting. In the NPFL, we await the game in Maiduguri. I mean, Academy nil, Sunshine Stars nil. Sunshine Stars had nothing to play for in that game. I wonder why they want to spoil the party in Maiduguri. Extra time, added time, whichever one you want to say, is being played in that one.
Yeah, they are also paying for nothing because regardless of what the result would be, they would also be relegated. Talking about Sunshine Stars.
So why spoil the party for Academy?
Nottingham Forest almost did that because if I want to go down, I don't go down with you. So they wanted to go down with El Kanemi. It's looking like they will definitely go down with El Kanemi, and it's still nil. So let's see how it goes.
And a couple of messages already on the WhatsApp portal. All right, let's just take some reactions to the final day in the EPL as well as the final day in the MPFL. One big achievement from the MPFL is that for the very first time, the calendar has aligned with that of Europe. I mean, for years, it has been one big issue that looked unsurmountable, but this board has been able to do it.
We should thank them for their breached league some years ago, which kind of returned things to status quo a bit. So hopefully, I know one of the issues we usually have is starting on time. So if we can start on time going into the 2025-2026 season, we won't be having this kind of issues. Also, the schedule, the calendar, I think it was this season we saw, was it Rivers United miss about 7-8 games in the league just because they were playing on the continent. They need to also solve that schedule issue. We don't see it happen any other place in the world.
Well, and I see your message, Abbas from Dutse, asking how true it is that South Africa have lost 3.3 goals, deducted by FIFA. FIFA are yet to make it official, but we understand they have notified South Africa and Nigeria. South Africa rather, and Nigeria might be benefiting from that. Aminu Idris from Zone 4 says, congratulations to our London brothers, but that is not what we wish. Okay. Your wish did not come true. And trying to find out who sent this one. Okay. Well, you didn't put your name. Okay. Ebuka says, Chelsea has given me a birthday present. I don't care what happens on Wednesday. Oh, really?
Happy birthday
to you, Ebuka.
But you still need to care. You can't lose to Real Betis.
No.
You need to care.
Always
for bragging rights.
Yeah, always put your name and your location in every of your messages, Ebuka. I needed to, scroll before I could wish you happy birthday. Chelsea have officially qualified for the Champions League. Up, Chelsea. 3 or C from Apple with us screaming words on the WhatsApp portal. This one screams too much. Father from Piacasa says it's so painful to see Chelsea fans celebrating Champions League qualification. I'm not just wondering what Roman will be thinking wherever he is. Yeah, Chelsea fans had to celebrate it because it was difficult. Now they know what Arsenal felt some years back. And coach, this is Temitope from Gwagwalada. I said nobody give Chelsea a chance of